I signed the execution order with a flourish that morning, watching the ink bleed like the life draining from the man who'd built his fortune on the backs of the forgotten. He was me now, or what was left of me, scrubbing toilets in a halfway house, his once manicured hands raw and trembling as he overheard the news on a crackling radio. Betrayal tastes sweetest when it's served cold from the inside out.
But it wasn't always this way.
3 years ago, in the gleaming marble halls of Harrington and Locke, I was Elena Vasquez, the golden girl of corporate law, the Latina firebrand who'd clawed her way from a Bronx tenement to the corner office everyone whispered about. Until Harlan Locke, my mentor, my almost father, decided my rise threatened his throne. He framed me for embezzling client funds, his funds funneled into offshore accounts to bankroll his Senate run. I took the fall. 5 years in federal lockup. Disbarred. Disgraced. While he toasted to new beginnings at galas I used to crash.
Now,
in his skin, 62 years old, broad-shouldered, silver fox handsome, I felt the weight of his Rolex like a noose. The swap wasn't magic, it was black market neural mapping. A DARPA leftover peddled in the dark web's underbelly by a rogue neuroscientist who'd owed me a favor for my pre-prison days. One night in an abandoned warehouse clinic outside Baltimore, electrodes humming like angry bees. And poof, souls traded, bodies bound. I woke up gasping in his penthouse bed. Silk sheets tangled around legs that weren't mine, staring at a face in the mirror that sneered back with Harlan's patented arrogance. He, somewhere in my old shell, piecing together a life of ramen and regret. The first decision was controversial from the jump. I didn't hide. I strode into the firm that Monday, Harlan's timbre booming from his throat, barking orders at associates who jumped like I never left. Vasquez was a liability. I drawled in board meetings, voice-dripping southern drawl he'd picked up from Vanderbilt days. Good riddance.
Now,
let's talk real money, dumping those green energy holdings before the regs hit. Whispers rippled. Was Locke losing it? Selling off eco-portfolio to fund fossil fuel lobbying? Activists picketed the lobby, calling it a betrayal of the firm's progressive facade. Harlan's donors, big oil barons with Texas twangs, cheered from their Gulfstream jets.
Me?
I just smiled, knowing every divestment chipped at the empire he'd built on lies. File 1. The Mirror's Lie, words, 1024. The penthouse on K Street overlooked the Potomac like a king surveying his serfs. All glass walls and minimalist chrome that screamed, I own this town. I paced the marble floors in Harlan's loafers, which pinched like guilt, practicing his walk, the loose hip swagger of a man who'd golfed with senators and bedded their wives. My reflection in the floor-to-ceiling windows mocked me, crow's feet etching maps of betrayals I hadn't committed, a jawline carved from boardroom battles I'd only watched from the sidelines. Elena Vasquez, 32. 5'6" firecracker with curves that turned heads and a mind that broke them. Reduced to this husk. No. Wait, this husk was mine now. Harlan Locke was the ghost rattling chains in my old skin. I raided his closet first, burying my unease in Armani. The swap had been seamless. Per Dr. Kessler's specs, full synaptic override. Memories intact but bodies flipped like pancakes on a griddle. He got my tattoos, the rose on my ribcage from a wild NYU night, the semicolon on my wrist from darker days, and the endometriosis flare-ups that doubled me over monthly. I got his gout, his Viagra stash, and a Rolodex of skeletons that could fill the Smithsonian. But the real prize? Access. Unlimited, unquestioned access to the machine that had chewed me up and spat me out. My first call was to the firm. Harlan here. Schedule a partner's lunch, full roster. And get Vasquez's files to storage. Permanently. The assistant, a perky blonde named Tiffany with a voice like honeyed bourbon, didn't bat an eye. Why would she? I was the boss. Lunch was at Morton's, Steakhouse Cathedral to DC Power, where deals were sealed in ribeye juices and whispers. I arrived early, nursing a Macallan neat, Harlan's poison, not mine, watching suits file in like obedient sheep. They greeted me with handshakes firm as contracts. Preston, the rainmaker with oil-slick hair. Lydia, the litigator who'd once called me little sister before the axe fell. And Marcus, the diversity hire who'd stayed silent when I needed allies. Harlan, you look rested, Lydia said, eyes narrowing over her Cobb salad. I chuckled, low and rumbling like thunder over the Alleghenies. Clean living. LYD. Cut out the drama. Subtext. Cut out the women like Elena who dared dream bigger. The agenda was mine. Scripted in the Mirror that morning. We're pivoting, I announced. Slicing into a porterhouse that bled rare. Just how he liked it. Tech's a bubble. AI ethics suits coming like locusts. We're doubling down on defense contracts. Raytheon. Lockheed, get the proposals out by end of day. Murmurs erupted. The firm had branded itself future forward, pro-regulation. The darling of Beltway progressives. This was Harlan unfiltered. The hawkish roots he'd buried under greenwashing. Preston leaned in, cigar breath hot, bold.
Harlan.
But the clients. Screw the clients who whine, I snapped, Harlan's temper flaring hot in my veins. We're lawyers, not activists. Elena thought she could play Robin Hood with our billables. Look where that got her. The table froze. I dropped her name like a grenade, watching shrapnel hit. Lydia's fork clattered. You never talk about that. I shrugged, spearing a chunk of meat. Past his prologue. Darlin'. Now eat up. We've got empires to build. Back at the office. The fallout brewed. Emails pinged. Junior associates circulating petitions. Whispers of Harlan's midlife crisis. I leaked a memo to Politico, anonymous source. Naturally, positioning the pivot as pragmatic patriotism. By evening, Fox News was praising Locke's return to American values, while MSNBC decried it as corporate treason. Controversial? Hell yes. And it was just the appetizer. That night, I hacked my personal server. Password, Magnolia69, because of course. Files unfolded like a house of cards, the embezzlement trail. Neat as a surgeon's cut. Routed through my name on dummy accounts.
But deeper?
Secrets that curdled my borrowed blood. Harlan hadn't just framed me, he'd covered for his daughter. Amelia, a Vassar dropout who'd OD'd on fentanyl in a Georgetown brownstone 2 years back. The donation to a rehab clinic? Bribe to the coroner for a clean talk screen. And the kicker, Senator Caldwell. My father, wait.
No.
Harlan's affair with my mother. Back when she was his paralegal. Caldwell was the cuckold stepdad who'd raised me. But Harlan? My biological father. The DNA test. Buried in an encrypted folder. Confirmed it. Betrayal didn't cut deep. It excavated the marrow. I slammed the laptop shut, bile rising. This body, this life, it was poison fruit. But revenge? It bloomed like nightshade. Beautiful and fatal. I poured another Macallan, toasting the mirror. To family, I growled. Harlan. In my skin somewhere in a Baltimore flophouse. Probably nursing a hangover and a hallucination that his world had flipped. He had no idea. The next week blurred into calculated chaos. I greenlit a merger with a private prison outfit, controversial as a lit match in a powder keg. Especially with Elena Vasquez's injustice fresh in the headlines. Protests swelled outside the firm. Chants of "Lock the Crook" echoing off K Street's canyons. I watched from the 32nd floor. Harlan's cigar smoke curling like a devil's halo. Lydia cornered me in the hall. "This isn't you."
Harlan.
"Elena was one of us. You destroyed her." I met her gaze. His blue eyes icy. "She destroyed herself. Chasing ghosts. Like you will if you push this." She paled, backing away. Power, unfiltered, was a drug deadlier than fentanyl. By month's end, the firm hemorrhaged talent, 20% staff turnover, poached by hungrier outfits. But profits? Up 15. Defense dollars flowing like Potomac silt. Harlan's Senate war chest swelled. He knew. I was polling at 48% in the primary. The straight-talking fixer America craved. Donors courted me at rooftop soirees. Air-kissing cheeks while pitching arms deals for Ukraine. I played the part. Harlan's laugh booming. But inside, Elena seethed. This wasn't just payback, it was reclamation. I'd borne his sins, our shared bloodline a curse, and now I'd wield his sins like a blade. One evening, a burner phone buzzed on the nightstand. Kessler's voice. Gravelly from chain smoking. "It's holding." But glitches, phantom pains, memory bleeds.
"You feel it yet?"
I flexed Harlan's arthritic fingers. Like echoes in a canyon. "Keep the machine warm. I might need a round two."
Click.
Alone again. I scrolled X, formerly Twitter, for traces of him. A grainy post from @E_Vasquez reborn. From bars to boardrooms, life's a swap meet. Justice delayed. My old handle. His clumsy fingers typing. He knew. And he was watching. The hook sank deeper that Friday. A gala at the Kennedy Center. Black tie and blacker hearts. I arrived in Harlan's tux. Amelia's ghost necklace, diamond teardrop, dangling like accusation. Senator Caldwell. My father, clapped my shoulder. "Harlan, you old dog." That prison play? Genius. Elena would have hated it. His laugh grated. Whiskey sour. I forced a grin. She hated a lot. Speaking of seen her around, he waved it off. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Pass the caviar. In that moment, staring at the man who'd signed my birth certificate under false pretenses, I decided, no half measures. The empire falls. Brick by blood brick. As the orchestra swelled with Gershwin, I slipped into the shadows, dialing a contact from Kessler's network. It's Locke. I need dirt on Caldwell. Everything. The line hummed. You sure? Boss? That's family. I hung up, tasting ash. Family? We'd see. Power in D.C. isn't won in ballots, it's tallied in ledgers. The kind etched in invisible ink on napkins at the monocle. I spent the next fortnight buried in Harlan's study. A vault of walnut panels and false bottoms. Unearthing the rot. The embezzlement was child's play, a $2.3 million slush fund siphoned from a class action settlement for Flint water victims. Rerouted through my byline to look like my activist greed. But the real vault? A Pandora's box of Caldwell's complicity. Emails from a decade back. Harlan coaching the senator on creative accounting for campaign PACs. laundered through the firm. My mother, Sofia Vasquez, the paralegal pawn, pregnant with me after a one-night merger at the firm holiday party. Caldwell, sterile from chemo, adopted the lie to save face. They buried the affair. Buried her when cancer took her young. Official story. Widower's grief. Unofficial. Harlan's hush money kept the Vasquez name off the scandal sheet. I slammed the drawer. Harlan's palm stinging like karma slap. Elena's voice in my head, my real head, whispered, "You're his daughter. This makes you the monster." But monsters don't frame their own blood for white-collar felonies. I poured a finger of bourbon.
Neat.
And plotted. The swap's glitches had started, flashes of Harlan's memories bleeding in. Unbidden. A Vassar quad. Amelia laughing before the pills. A deposition where he'd twisted facts to bury a whistleblower me. In another life. I shook it off, focusing on the play. Monday's partners' meeting was my guillotine. We're auditing the old settlements, I announced. Voice steady as a gavel. Preston choked on his espresso. Harlan.
That's.
Reopening Elena's case. I nodded. Cool as Potomac fog. Loose ends itch. And with the Senate run. Transparency's our brand. Lies. All of it. The audit was a Trojan horse. Coded to flag Caldwell's pack ties. By noon, feds were knocking, subpoenas courtesy of a tip from my burner. The Post ran the headline, "Lock firm probes own corruption. Is Vasquez vindicated?" Chaos erupted. Protesters swelled to hundreds. Free Elena trending nationwide. My old prison mates from Alderson firing up TikToks with "I knew it" chants. Harlan in my body went viral too, a shaky video from a soup kitchen. Elena Vasquez speaks, framed by the elite. His eyes, my eyes, burned with borrowed fury. I watched it on loop in the limo to Capitol Hill, chuckling. Let him howl, the world's deaf to the disgraced. Caldwell called that afternoon, voice a whip crack. What the hell? Harlan? You dragged me into this. I leaned back in Harlan's leather throne. Feet up. Just cleaning house. Senator. Your house. My firm, same roof. Silence. Then venom. You touch my family. You touch nothing. Remember Sofia? The name hit like a gut punch. Harlan's heart, my heart, skipping. Sofia wanted truth, I said softly. Elena's steel under Harlan's drawl. I'm giving it to her.
Click.
The line died, but the war woke. The controversial decisions escalated, each a scalpel to the vein. I vetoed a pro bono pipeline case, citing conflicts really to starve Caldwell's fossil donors. Then, I donated $500,000 from the firm's PAC to a bail reform initiative, anonymous but traceable, painting Harlan as a flip-flop. Beltway buzzed, Locke's having a Damascus moment or a breakdown. Lydia resigned via email. You've lost your soul. Harlan. Irony. Thy name is swap. Nights blurred into Kessler's maintenance sessions for drips of nootropics in a Georgetown basement clinic, stabilizing the neural bridge. You're integrating too fast, he warned. Electrodes buzzing. His ego's fighting back. Indeed. Dreams where I was him. Seducing Sofia in a rain-lashed parking garage. Her laugh like wind chimes. I'd wake sweating. Harlan's silk pajamas clinging. Questioning whose hands had signed my ruin. But doubt was a luxury. Revenge was rent due. The twist came mid-month. A courier package at the penthouse. Manila envelope. No return. Inside. Photos, grainy surveillance of the warehouse swap night.
Me?
In Elena's body. Entering with Kessler. And a note. Typed crisp. We both know the truth. Meet at the Lincoln Memorial. Midnight. Or the world learns about the daughter who orchestrated her own fall. My blood, Harlan's blood, iced. Orchestrated?
No.
I'd been clean. The frame airtight. But the photos lied. Or? Midnight fog rolled off the reflecting pool. Lincoln's marble gaze stern as judgment. A figure waited. Hooded Amelia?
No.
The hood dropped. Kessler. Gaunt under sodium lamps. You, I growled. Harlan's timbre echoing. He smirked. Cigarette glowing. Not just me. You funded the swap. Elena. From the slush before the frame. Harlan caught you dipping. So he flipped it.
Lies.
Proof.
He tossed a USB.
Your emails. Dummy accounts. You stole to expose him. Noble little crusader. He made it felony. The drive home was a blur. USB burning in my pocket. Plugging in. The files unspooled. My login. Timestamps matching the siphons. I'd done it, skimmed for a whistleblower fund. Targeting Harlan's dirt. He hadn't framed an innocent. He'd amplified my mistake. Buried the motive. Betrayal. Yes, but mutual? The mirror laughed back. Harlan's face cracking with Elena's tears. Who was the villain now? I didn't sleep. Dawn broke gray. And I called the one loose end, Preston. Full audit on me. Harlan Locke. His gasp crackled the line.
Boss.
Do it. And leak it. By lunch. Sirens wailed outside. Feds again. This time for the king. As cuffs clicked on Harlan's wrists, my wrists, I whispered to the reflection in the squad car's window. Your move, Dad. Arrest is a great leveler. Even for silver foxes with DC pedigrees. They booked me in a fluorescent hellhole off Pennsylvania Avenue. Fingerprints smudging Harlan's manicure like graffiti on a monument. Harlan Locke, you have the right. The Miranda chant was white noise. My mind raced circuits. Elena's logic parsing the USB's poison. Had I skimmed? Memories flickered, late nights in the firm's server room. Righteous fury fueling keystrokes. Yes. A justice jar for victims. Pennies from Harlan's empire. But felony?
No.
That was his alchemy. Turning my spark into arson. Bail hearing was circus. Cameras flashing like paparazzi vultures. Caldwell's face on CNN. Feigning shock. A family friend. Blindsided. Family. The word festered. I lawyered up with the firm's own defense team. Irony's appetizer. Posting $5 million bonds from Harlan's Cayman stash. Out by dusk. Paparazzi swarming the courthouse steps. I snarled. No comment, Harlan's baritone scattering them like roaches. The penthouse felt haunted. Echoes of Amelia's ghost in the empty wine racks. I poured scotch. Straight from the crystal decanter. And booted the laptop. Cross-referencing. My schemes totaled $47,000, misdemeanor at worst. Funneled to a Latino legal aid I'd founded pre-fame. Harlan's frame had inflated it tenfold. Digital forgeries seamless. But the USB? Fabricated timestamps. IP spoofed to my workstation. Kessler's play. Or a third hand. A knock shattered the silence. Lydia. Rain-damp trench coat. Eyes like storm clouds. Harlan, whatever's left of you, talk. I let her in. Gesture stiff in this borrowed frame. She paced. Heels clicking accusations. The audit. It's suicide. Why? I sank into the Eames chair. Harlan's gout throbbing. Because truth's the only currency left. She stopped, searching his face. This isn't menopause or a stroke.
You're
Different. Close enough. Elena was family, I said, voice cracking Elena true. You let her burn. Lydia's laugh was bitter chicory. We all did. Including you. But this pivot, the leaks, it's like you're atoning. She sat. Close. Perfume jasmine sharp. Or unraveling. I met her gaze. Harlan's blues softening. What if I told you Elena's back? Inside. Silence stretched. Taut as a deposition.
then.
Soft. I'd say prove it. I did, recounting her first case. A pro bono eviction fight in Anacostia. Details only we shared. Her hand trembled on mine.
Dios mío. How?
Science fiction, I whispered. Worse, revenge porn for the soul. Alliance forged in whiskey fumes. Lydia became my Virgil, navigating Harlan's inferno. We traced the USB to a dark web drop, Kessler's alias. Neuronomad. But deeper dives revealed cutouts, payments from a shell tied to Amelia's estate? The OD wasn't suicide, staged overdose to cover a whistleblower payout. Harlan had silenced her too. His angel, who'd hacked the firm's servers. Mirroring my skim. Amelia, my half-sister, dead for daring the dynasty. Rage boiled. Harlan's veins bulging. I stormed Kessler's clinic at dawn. Crowbar from the penthouse toolkit in hand, no gore. Just threat's shadow. He cowered behind monitors. Screens flickering swap schematics. It was Caldwell, he spat. Sweat beading. Senator paid for the setup. Swap you two to reunite his girls' legacies. Amelia's files. Elena's fire. Merge M in Harlan's body for his campaign puppet. Lies layered like DC smog. Proof? A voice memo, Caldwell's drawl. Put my blood in the driver's seat. Lock's done. The puzzle clicked, Caldwell. Biological nothing. Craved legacy. Framed me to break Harlan. Then engineered the swap via Kessler, blackmailed from Amelia's dealings to puppeteer me as his Senate heir. Harlan? Collateral. Rotting in my shell. Controversial? Orchestrating a body snatch for political gain. Watergate on steroids. I didn't kill Kessler. Policies ghost lingered. But his hard drive? Shredded. Backups torched in a dumpster blaze behind a dive bar. Lydia waited in the getaway sedan. Engine humming. Next.
Caldwell.
Full court press. We leaked the memo to Walpo. Anonymous. Ironclad. By noon. Impeachment whispers swirled the hill. Donors fleeing like rats from the Titanic. Harlan surfaced then. My old body gaunt in a presser outside a Baltimore shelter. I'm Elena Vasquez, he croaked. Cameras whirring. And Harlan Locke stole my life. Now I'm stealing it back. The crowd gasped. I watched live from the penthouse. Heart, whose? Twisting. He looked wrecked. My curves hollowed. But eyes blazed. Elena's unbowed. Our first contact. A text from his burner. We end this. Together. I replied. His body. My rules. Meet at the firm. Midnight. The confrontation was thunderclap. He arrived hooded. My stride hesitant in heels I'd once rocked. We faced off in Harlan's office. City lights mocking below. You feel it? I asked. Voice dual-toned. He nodded. Peeling back the hood, my face. Haunted. His memories.
Creeping.
The affair. Sophia. Tears welled. Mine too. Our father, I said. Caldwell's the snake. We clasped hands, Harlan's meaty paw in my slender one, synapses sparking across the void. Swap back, he whispered. Or burn it all. Decision burn. We torched the server room, digital arson. Firewalls crumbling under Lydia's code. Client files. Pack ledgers. DNA proofs, poof. The firm flatlined. Stocks cratering. Caldwell's empire? We fed the Fed's breadcrumbs. RICO charges brewing. His family values facade cracking. But glitches worsened. Harlan's gout morphed to my phantom cramps, his flashes invaded. Boardroom seductions. Amelia's last plea. Stop me, I begged the mirror. Controversial choice. I dosed Harlan with Kessler's stabilizer. Slipped in his soup kitchen tray. Mercy. Or control. He texted. Thanks. Now your turn. DC summer simmer like a pot left too long on the boil. Humid. Heavy with the scent of magnolias and malice. By July, the air crackled with scandal static. Caldwell's hearings dominated C-SPAN. His jowls quivering denials under Klieg lights. Fabrications from a disgruntled ex, he thundered. But the memo's audio looped viral. His drawl damning. Donors defected. Polls tanked to 22%. Harlan Senate bid? I withdrew it myself. A press release dripping contrition. Personal demons demand reckoning. The party faithful howled betrayal. Progressives cheered the implosion. Lydia and I holed up in a foggy-bottomed safe house, her aunt's pied a terra. All chintz and secrets, plotting the kill shot. Rico's slow, she said, pacing with a Merlot in hand. Hit personal. Elena's intuition sparked. The gala where it began. Kennedy Center Redux. Caldwell's legacy fundraiser. I'd crash as Harlan. Ghost of scandals past. Confront him on stage. I proposed. Controversial? Exposing patricide, blood or not, in front of 500 elites? Front page Armageddon. Prep was purgatory. Harlan in my shell, smuggled in via back alleys. Our meetings clandestine as Cold War drops. We swapped stories over takeout foe. His voice my alto, soft with fatigue. Your body's tough, he admitted, rubbing my wrist semicolon scar. But the stares. They see the felon.
Not me.
Guilt gnawed. Harlan's indigestion flaring. I gave you that, I murmured. We gave each other hell. Truce fragile as rice paper. He fed me Caldwell's tics, nervous throat clear before lies. I slipped him cash for a decent wig. Elena's curls tamed. Glitches peaked, full bleed nights where I dreamed his life entire. Vanderbilt frat haze. Sophia's whisper in the garage. This changes nothing. Harlan. But everything. I'd wait clawing sheets. Questioning agency. Was the skim mine? Or his subconscious sabotage? Grooming me as fall guy? Amelia's files. Salvaged from Kessler's ash. She'd coded the forgeries. Half-sister hacker avenging mom's erasure. Legacy? A chain of silenced women. Links I now forged or broke. Gala night. Tux crisp. Amelia's necklace a noose of diamonds. I slipped in via donor list. Harlan's name still gold-plated. Caldwell held court center stage. Podium eagle crest. Droning on American renewal. The crowd, lobbyists in pearls. Aides with iPads, nodded like bobbleheads. I waited wings. Pulse Harlan's thunder. Then, unscripted, I strode out. mic and fist. Senator. I boomed. Drawl cutting fog. Gasps rippled. Renewal starts with confession. Spotlights blinded. Security tensed. Caldwell's throat cleared. Tell. Harlan Locke. To what do we owe this? Intrusion.
Smile strained.
I leaned in, voice dropping intimate. To family. Sofia Vasquez, your wife. My mother. And the daughter you buried twice. The necklace swung, catching light like accusation. Murmurs swelled to roar. DNA doesn't lie, Senator. Neither does the memo. You swapped us, me and Elena, for your throne. Chaos. Phones out. Live streams igniting. Caldwell blanched. Sputtering. Delusional.
Guards.
But I pressed. Elena's fire and Harlan's timbre. Amelia knew. She coded your fall. Like I skimmed your sins. Justice jar for the jailed, your framed daughters. The crowd fractured. Applause from backbenchers. Shrieks from donors. A bottle shattered. Fists flew in the scrum. I held ground, unblinking. As Fed swarmed, my anonymous tip. Timed, perfect. Caldwell lunged. Whisper hiss. You were nothing without me. Bastard spawn. His hand clamped my arm, Harlan's arm, nails digging crescents. Sofia begged for the lie. Now rot in it. Security hauled him. I stood. Empire's emperor dethroned. Backstage. Lydia enveloped me. You did it. But victory soured. Glitches surged. Harlan's memories flooding. Caldwell's chemo vigils. Sterile and sobbing. Adopting the lie for love. Not legacy. Outside. Rain lashed like judgment. Harlan waited in shadows. My body huddled under street lamp glow. Saw the feed, he said. Voice quaver. Twist. He funded the swap to save you from Harlan's frame. Kessler twisted it. USB redux. Memos reversed. Caldwell's desperation to reunite blood. Puppeteer gone rogue. Betrayal inverted. I'd vilified the savior. We drove to the warehouse. Kessler's husk awaiting trial. Confession. Caldwell paid for protection, not control. I sold to the highest. Your revenge funded my yacht. Lies? Truth? The machine hummed. Electrodes ready. Swap back. Harlan asked. Eyes, my eyes, pleading. Decision loomed. Controversial core. Mercy for the man who'd worn my skin. Or permanence in his. Elena, eternal avenger? The warehouse reeked of ozone and regret. Machineries hum a dirge for swapped souls. Kessler, cuffed to a radiator, feds en route, grinned gap-toothed. Choose quick. Bridge decays post-climax. Harlan in my flesh paced. Skirt swishing awkward. Elena, this body. It's home now, or hell. I touched the console. Harlan's fingers trembling on dials. Memories ward, my Bronx stoop. Mom's tamales steaming, his Vanderbilt greens. Amelia's tiny hand in his. Home's what we build, I said. Hell's what we leave. Caldwell's fate sealed the scale. Midnight news, resignation. RICO indictment. Assets frozen. Legacy of lies, the Chiron blared. His call from holding collect. Voice broken read, Sophia's girl. Forgive the medal. Wanted you safe.
Click.
No apology for the frame, Harlanson, but the swap? Desperate dad's gambit. Twisted by Kessler's greed. Controversial absolution. Monster or man. I chose the swap. Electrodes biting. Pain lanced, firewire through veins then void. Awakening my body. Elena's curves familiar ache. Tattoos itching like rebirth. Harlan gasped opposite, his face crumpling old. Free, he wheezed. We burned the machine. Flames devouring circuits. Kessler's screams soundtrack. Epilogue dawned raw. Firm dissolved. Partners scattering like leaves in a gale. Lydia and I relaunched as Vasquez and Hale, pro bono powerhouse. Suing the suits. Harlan vanished to Key West, bartending under alias. Mailing postcards, pouring penance. One mojito at a time.
Caldwell?
House arrest in McLean. Penning memoirs no one buys. Amelia's grave. I laid roses. Half-sister's code etched on stone. Hacked the silence. But the twist lingered. Debatable dagger. In the bleed, I'd glimpsed Harlan's final secret. The frame wasn't malice, but mercy. He'd skimmed first. To bait my justice jar, forging a path to expose Caldwell's rot. I took the fall to shield him from deeper probes. His daughter unknowing pawn. Betrayal? Or sacrifice? We'd both worn the villain's mask. Revenge a mirror maze.
Now.
In a DC coffee shop, latte steaming. City buzzing, I scroll X. At _Vasquez reborn posts. Swapped lives teach. Power's illusion. Burn the throne. Likes pour in. Debates rage. Hero or hubris. I smile. Elena true. Typing reply from Harlan's old handle. Both. And neither. Cheers to the gray. The end?
Happy.
In reclaimed skin. Tragic. In fractured blood. You decide. The hook closes. But the line tugs eternal.